You're locked in to the hottest station on the planet.
Resistance is futile. The revolution has begun.
You're listening to Rebelpreneur Radio, helping you break the rules and build the business you need for the life you want. And now, broadcasting his pirate signal
from somewhere beyond the status quo,
here's your host, best-selling author, marketing and media strategist, Ralph Brogden.
Hello and welcome to Rebelpreneur Radio. It's the show that helps you build the business you need so you can live the life you want. I'm Ralph Brogden. Building the business you need so you can live the life you want. So within that mission of building a great business, it's also living a great life. And if you're not taking care of your health, how long can your business actually function? Only as long as you are functioning. So health, healthy mindset, healthy lifestyle, balancing work and play and rest and personal and professional. We have all these things that we are juggling. And it is so important that we take care of ourselves. The old adage is when you're on the airplane and they say in the event of an emergency, put your oxygen mask on before you try to help anybody else. Put theirs on. Take care of yourself first. So for a lot of people, especially as we get older, taking care of your health, taking care of your body is going to be a factor in how well you show up in business. Your ability to sustain the thing that you were working on, your passion project, your organization, your mission, it's only as good as your mental and physical and spiritual health. Well, today's guest is here to speak with us about your heart health, and I am pleased to welcome Pratiksha Gandhi MD. She is a world-renowned preventative heart care expert, an author, a speaker, and researcher with a mission to prevent heart attacks and eradicate cardiovascular diseases. She helps people with drug-free and non-surgical alternatives for heart health through online and in-person programs. Along with her team in San Diego, she's the founder and director of the Global Foundation for Preventive Cardiology. Dr. Gandhi, welcome to Rebelpreneur Radio.
Thank you, Ralph. I'm very happy to be here.
Is the sun shining in San Diego today?
Absolutely. It's amazing weather out here.
All the time, right? Wonderful. So it's a real pleasure to have you. We don't want to think about our heart health, unfortunately, until it becomes a problem, until it becomes an issue. Your mission is to try and prevent those problems before they happen. And I really love the vision you present of preventing heart attacks and eradicating cardiovascular diseases. Tell me the story behind what got you interested in this particular field.
Yes, Ralph. So typically, like as any conventional doctor, after doing MD, had set up a hospital helping patients in the ICU, like doing the conventional practice. But however, there was like a event which happened, which is very close to my heart. This is way back in India. I'm talking in 1997. So like India that time was like having like insurance was not actually available to most of like 90% of the population, and heart surgeries used to be very, very expensive. So I had this gentleman who just broke down and told me that, hey, I'm not going to do a surgery. I better die because I don't have that kind of money, So that was like a very touching moment for me because I felt that, hey, I'm not become a doctor so that my patients can die, So
Right.
I should do something for this person. And I just like, because I'm also a trained teacher in yoga, meditation, I have done a lot of naturopathy, homeopathy, Ayurveda, a lot of alternatives along with allopathy. I thought of like kind of combining the Western allopathic standards with, indigenous Oriental medicine. And then I helped him. And I use the same standards like how we use in heart care. The cardiologist will go for treadmill and echoes to see the improvement in the heart after surgeries. I saw the same standards, applied them, and that person was fantastic. He was walking for 3-4 miles, lost weight and living a healthy life. And that actually motivated me to a point where I just left the hospital and I made a lifelong mission. I founded Institute of Preventive Cardiology, and that is how I this whole journey began, to help people in a different way.
Wonderful. So you're working with people to help them prevent heart disease, to incorporate healthy lifestyles and alternatives to traditional medicine. And you do programs online as well as in person. Tell us a little bit about how you work with people online and in person like that.
Sure. So, there are mainly two groups of people who reach out to me. So, like, one is the people who have already undergone a heart attack, or because the problem here is, Ralph, that 70% of the people get heart attack as a first symptom. And unfortunately, half of them has last. So if one survives a heart attack, they are really lucky beings. And now you understand that why I'm into prevention, because we are losing half the people. And another thing is that even if they do a surgery or stenting, or they get the treatment after heart attack, 25% of the people are getting heart attack again, in spite of the standard care which they have gone through, the medications and the surgeries. So this is like a major group which reaches out to me, because now they have got one event, they don't want another event. And so we have this program which is a happy method, which is like heart screening, attitude, physical exercise, plant-based diet, and yoga. So I have this kind of program which we conduct in person and online to help them. And we also have a device which increases the blood flow to the heart here in San Diego. So we do all this combination, that is for this group which is there with heart issues. And we also have another group now who is becoming aware that, hey, my father got a heart problem, my mother had it, or uncle had it, or I'm having the risk factors like blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol. So all these people, or as you mentioned about business minded people, they just want to remain fit, hey, I want to focus on my business, my work, I don't want to fall sick.
Right.
So these are the kind of people who reach out to us, and we help them through our in-person and online programs, what we do.
Wonderful. So it's a combination of things. There's not a single thing that makes the difference across the board, but it's the diet and the exercise. And you mentioned yoga. What are some of the other things that help people get to a place of heart healthiness after they've had it, or to prevent one from occurring?
Yes. So basically, there are a lot of things which are available online and internet, and many times people become very confused because Dr. Google has become the chief doctor nowadays, and I get all the people with
That's
so
scary,
many
Dr.
thoughts.
Google.
Yeah,
That's exactly right, though. That's really
yeah,
scary.
absolutely scary, Ralph, because I see people buying thousands and thousands dollars of supplements, and they come with so many things. And also, my first goal is that I have a very root cause driven approach, that, hey, because the standard care is just doing the lab work of cholesterol, they are not going into other detailed risk factors which are there. So first is for me, the screening part is very, very important. And this is all to the listeners here, whether they come to me or not. I think they should focus on heart health screening. Go for doing simple tests like HSCRP, which is on chronic inflammation, calcium score, to assess whether you're developing the blockages or not. So there are now a lot of latest tests which are available, checking your omega-3/6 balance ratios. So these are the things needs to be done to ensure that your heart health is okay, because these are the risk factors which are actually lurking in the dark, and they are contributing to the problem. So we do all those things in details. That's why I said that sometimes in person, sometimes online, we guide them. Then there are a lot of other things which they can do, is basically more of their lifestyle, how their day goes, and especially I would like to tell the listeners about their morning routine. I wish, and I tell everyone that please give first 1 hour to your health. If you can get into anything of like meditation practices, like doing some exercises and connecting with yourself, gratitude, journaling, all those things that really benefits and is shown to help.
So that's helping our physical body by learning to relax and be mindful, in addition to the things that we're doing with our body, with exercise, and the things we're putting into our body that's either helping or hurting. So it sounds like a holistic approach as opposed to just strictly medicine and trying to help the 50% who survived the first heart attack.
Yeah, so I am a little bit strong on this opinion because I'm observing what is happening is that we have on one side the standard system, which is like pill for every ill, and we have this alternate where everyone is a supplement peddler. Like all these advertisements going on. This herb is good, that is good, and people are just going crazily, going for after all these things. So I believe that uh, there is a doctor within you which needs to be awakened. There is a healer within you, and what uniqueness which we bring to our programs is that we work on that natural healing mechanisms. We don't want people now to transition from like pills to supplements. It's not that I'm like anti supplements or anything. I do recommend supplements, but I feel they should be limited to whatever is actually required, not become like a fad the way it is becoming right now.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the reason I like more of breath work, meditation, mindfulness practices if someone cannot do meditation. So we have a lot of those resources like frequencies, which are the natural healing methods. So we are going more into, you can say, like drug free minimal supplements and more of natural methods, because it has to become a lifelong program, like, and I don't think so that it becomes sustainable to keep on popping things into your body all the time.
Well, that's the American way, is if there's a pill that I can take or several pills that I can take and still continue with my lifestyle but get the result that I want, then yeah, sure, give me the pills. But what you're saying is that the benefit of that is probably overstated for marketing purposes. And to really achieve the health that we need to achieve to prevent cardiac disease is going to take a lifestyle change. And it sounds like, based on what you're saying, that the mindfulness, the relaxation, the stress relief, is stress that big of a factor in someone's heart? I mean, I can see if they're eating the wrong thing, if they're eating fast food, if they're sitting on the couch, I can see a direct relationship to the physical symptoms based on physical activities or decisions that we make for better or for worse. I believe in a spirit, mind, body connection, but maybe you can help us understand how mindfulness and de-stressifying ourselves actually has an effect on the heart muscle.
Absolutely. So 50% of the heart issues like attacks have been attributed to faulty diets. Okay. And stress, like, so I just put the other part is like the stress part, because the mind plays a very big important role. So what happens in a heart attack is there has to be like kind of a blockage in the artery. Then there has to be like a constriction, so like the vessels have to constrict, and that happens in acute stress. Like stress increases the chances by like 400%, so it's very, very important. So people have like acute emotional stress, financial stress. You must have even seen people like even their favorite sports team loses, some people get heart attack. Like, yeah, I have witnessed that.
Yeah.
And I have seen people like even in the serials they are watching, if their favorite character is like gone or dead, I have seen people getting heart attacks. So it's like,
Wow.
Yeah, like, so the point is that stress definitely has a role to play. People are not understanding this, they are just taking it very lightly. So I have a simple mantra which I say is like, hey, every moment is like a choice. You can choose to be like happy, calm, relaxed, or you can choose to be irritated or whatever it is, like we have a choice, right? So it's just developing and cultivating this one simple thing that, hey, every moment is a choice whether what I'm going to choose. So even if people start choosing that, hey, I choose to be calm, they can put a sticky note, write it anywhere, like, put a note in your car wherever, that I choose to be like, calm, or to be, I think that also like is a very small step, but a significant step to become stress free and staying heart healthy.
Yeah, wow. And that's incredible. And it really underscores the importance of building the business you need so you can live the life you want. If the business you have built, the model that you're following, is causing you stress, or it's putting you, your business is putting you in a position of being burned out or feeling stressed out, that can have an adverse effect on your heart health and on your physical health. And if you're not showing up feeling good, you're not going to do good work. So here's yet another reason why, and another motivation to design the business you need so you can live the life you want and not cut your life short. And I forget the term, but there's a term that originated in Japan for people who overworked. They worked themselves to death, and having heart attacks at their desk. I don't know what it's called. It's not Kaizen. Kaizen is never-ending improvement. This would be whatever the reverse of that would be. It's dying from overwork. Too many entrepreneurs are kind of in that risk category if they're not careful.
So you're right. Like, as I was sharing with you about the stress, like I have people from the stock exchange, when their stocks crash, then they have problems. Then we have this Friday nights movie, anything happens to producers, it's like so real because we see all these things happening. And I always tell the entrepreneurs that to have that balance. And the worst thing I have seen is that irregular eating. People just don't want to eat because I have this meeting, that meeting. So we have to have this analogy of a car, that you just can't keep on running your car without filling in the gas. You somewhere have to give it a break. And also, unfortunately, we are not treating our bodies like with that preciousness. We are just like kind of, so I always say that it requires a lot of hard work in the wrong direction to get a heart attack. So because heart is the most powerful and resilient organ which keeps on like suffering silently till really you have to let's say like you have to push very hard actually to get a heart attack. So
well, that's good news. It doesn't happen by accident. You have to do a lot of things wrong for a long period of time.
For 15, 20, 25 years. It's like a long time you get. So that's why typically I also work with a group who is young, like in their 20s, 30s, because that is my favorite group, which is primary prevention. That, hey, why don't you build the right habits right now? So that because they when they did some research studies, they found in the postmortem of this young people between 20 to 30 years, the plaques were developing in them too. So it's not that when you're getting a blockage, say at 50 or 60 or 65, at 90%, something has happened overnight.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And people don't know that. We merrily eat those fries and burgers and all those kind of things, and they're nicely floating inside and getting deposited over the years. But because we don't have something to see, for skin we take so much of care because you want to go and show everyone. I sometimes feel I wish I had a meter to show people, hey, this is where your fries are going, like, check it out.
That's a really good way of looking at it. I think a good way to think about this is I use Star Trek a lot as an analogy. And you've got the medical officer, Dr. McCoy. You got James Kirk, who's the captain, and he's running the ship, and he's just taking care of what needs to be taken care of. But the interesting thing is that there is a health protocol on the Enterprise, and that means that the doctor can say to the captain, "You've got to stop. You've got to lay down. You got to go to sick bay." And the doctor can take him out of command if for a medical purpose. What that tells me is there's a health protocol that all of us need to be following. And even if you're trying to build a business, if you're trying to build an organization, whatever it is you're trying to accomplish in life, there's a health protocol that takes preeminence over anything else that you're trying to build or do. And why would they put that in place? Because if the captain of the ship has a heart attack, they can't fulfill their mission. And you can't fulfill your mission in life if you don't pay attention to the health protocol. So we need to set those things up and say, this is my health protocol. This is my morning routine. This is my diet, my exercise regimen. Here's what I'm going to do, regardless of how busy I get, regardless of how many trips I'm on, or whatever is coming up in my life. This has to be the priority so I can fulfill my mission and my purpose in life. Does that a good analogy? Does that make sense?
I really appreciate this, Ralph, because I'm a big fan of Captain Kirk.
Oh, good.
So I completely agree with this, and that's exactly what we do in our in-person and online programs. That I put all these pieces of puzzle in place because we have group programs, but I also do a lot of, because there are a lot of people who are like very busy and they want one-on-one. So I do that one-on-one coaching also, where I give them as per their lifestyle and what they want to achieve, like a protocol, like a heart healthy protocol. And the good part is that whatever we do in this protocol is for everything, for prevention of cancer and it's overall preventative protocol for a longevity blueprint. It's something like that,
Yeah.
And so this is something which is very, very important, that we can only fulfill our mission in business if our heart and health is in place. So I agree with you on this. Totally.
That's right.
Okay.
Well, good. So now the question becomes, what needs to go into that protocol? And that's what you help people to figure out. But what are a couple of suggestions you can give people that would get them moving in the right direction that they can begin to implement that's really simple right now?
Sure. So most important, as I told you, that is your diet, because 50% diet is responsible. So faulty diet. So simple thing is just cutting out all the processed foods which is there, So anything which is processed with all the preservatives and all, everything to cut down and go more for plant-based foods. I'm not though there are a lot of research studies which talk totally that you have to go 100% plant-based and give up total meat, but I know it's not practicable and feasible for most of people. So what we can do is that limit the intake, and at least even if we can increase the plant-based food choices, that would is great. Then second, as I told you, is about your mind, because that's most important. So how I always, again, I'm telling is about the morning routine, that when most of the people get up and check their phones, I start responding to the emails and social media and who has liked and all that stuff. So I said, no, the first 1 hour is to your own self, because you're telling the universe that I am the most important person and I have to fortify myself. So getting into the little bit of meditation and silence and, gratitude and journaling and all those things. So having a good routine is very important. Sleeping is very important, at least catching 6 hours minimum of sleep, because reduction in sleep also is linked to diabetes and heart issues, and also checking on the sleep is important. If people are super busy, some people in business are traveling, they can take some power naps in between. There are a lot of relaxation exercises, but keeping that mindfulness, as I told you, that making a simple choice that, hey, I am going to respond and not react, because we are always triggered and we are reacting, So that is something which people can make choices. And finally, I always recommend that how much ever fit, great you may be, screening is most important, because I have seen athletes, very, very fit people apparently looking like a poster boy, suddenly collapsing with a cardiac arrest. So you never know what's going inside.
Hmm.
And that's how I help people, getting to the root cause, identifying the risk factors, and then, designing that life. And we also have something where if someone wants to, like, as I told you, our mission is to eradicate heart problem. We also work with a device which increases the blood flow. So, like it's like if you have like how in California we have so many freeways. So when you have this freeways, if there is a traffic jam on the main, you can use the alternate roads. The
Hmm.
same way, in our heart, we have got the main three arteries. But then if we build up lot of collaterals, then say God forbid, because of some reason, even if one gets attacked, the muscle is preserved.
Hmm.
So the whole idea is that having like a good, like how we do business planning, we do the heart health planning, that how can we create a robust routine and a robust blueprint of what I call healthy heart blueprint, so that you don't succumb to heart problems.
Wonderful. Yeah. Well, it makes sense. I mean, if you have a business plan, why not have a heart
A
health
heart
plan?
health plan.
Sure. Well, now that you mention it, that actually makes a whole lot of sense. How can people get in touch with you to find out more about your services, either there in San Diego or to connect with you online for your online programs?
So basically, I have a website which is gffpc.org, or I can, there's a number which is directly, which many times becomes easier, which is 909-670-6138. One can text or just call and leave a voicemail, or so just get in touch quickly. That's the fastest way if someone needs help. And yeah, we are and most important is that we always are very clear and ethical, that we just want to help people who are the right fit. So we just like first talk and find out what they're looking forward from us, and if we uh, believe that we can help them, then only we engage. Otherwise we just don't want to like kind of because we are not like a typical, like how you have this medical, okay, pay per time and all that. So people are very like worried, that hey,
Mm-hmm.
whether I should call up or not. So but we are not that. We want to genuinely help people. So that's the reason we just talk and first find out what are their needs, and then if we can help them, then we start the process.
Wonderful. So we'll have that link on the website as well. It's jffpc.org, and that stands for the Global Foundation for Preventive Cardiology. This has really been interesting because it makes me think, I need to up my game in this area. I need a better heart health protocol, and I need to make sure that I'm doing everything I can so I can live the life I want to live while I'm building the business to give me more life, that I'm not, my business isn't killing me in the process. And I think that's probably the number one entrepreneurial challenge for everyone that's listening. So especially the older that we get. So I appreciate you sharing your wisdom with us today. Any final thoughts or words of wisdom that you'd like to leave our listeners with?
Yes. Since I'm also an entrepreneur and we are talking to all great business builders over here, there is one verse from our scriptures in India, which is the Bhagavad Gita, which is very much applicable if we can, which is like the Sanskrit word is karmadi varaste karma phaleshu kadachanam. It means literally that you just do your duty to your best ability and don't be attached to the results of the outcome. You're getting me? Most of the business people are getting stressed. I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, but I'm not getting this. Like they're constantly stressed out. So to make this whole business and entrepreneurial journey fun, the best is like every day just show up, put in your best foot forward, work, and just don't be attached to the results. Just introspect, reflect, evaluate. Next day, just make yourself better. So I've been following that all my life, and that keeps me stress free because I have to walk the talk.
Excellent words of advice. Fall in love with the process, not with the outcome, and then the outcome will be the result of your process. So, Dr. Gandhi, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Rebelpreneur Radio with Ralph Brogden. Download the show notes and much more at rebelpreneur.com.